Here we are, right at the start of his career. Opus number 2, when Beethoven did this. It was, I believe, the first use of a triple trill on a piano. Right at the start, Beethoven was breaking new ground with this simple, popular, you might even say basic musical ornamentation. But this is just the beginning, so stick with me. Over the course of this video, I will show you just how far Beethoven's genius could take something as seemingly simple as the trill. Trilling is the rapid alternation between two adjacent notes. In music, trilling belongs to that category known as musical ornaments, ornamentation, i.e. something to decorate your music. You know, put some pretty ornaments around the place. It's the musical equivalent of a garnish. You know, that sprig of parsley that's not intrinsic to the dish, but rather there for a bit of decoration and, you know, class. Composers loved using trills, at least far back as the Baroque period and probably earlier. And by the classical period, trills had become de rigueur. Mozart in particular used the trill as a cadence, you know, a sign-off to a section. I always remember it being the easiest ornamentation to play when I was learning to play the piano, and certainly the easiest to spell. It's simple, 2 notes, and yet you can still achieve a lot of intensity. Just look how it's used in singing, as a technique usually referred to as vibrato. It adds a throbbing quality that helps the intensity and the expression. Too much of it, however, too much expression. So that's great, trilling adds intensity, but Beethoven, he just had to take it further. This is the slow movement of his 5th and final piano concerto, composed at the height of what you might call Beethoven's middle period, and right at the heart of it, Beethoven begins a trill. The harmonic pitch rises upwards as the trill continues, an impossibly long time. This is classic Beethoven, ever reaching out towards something spiritual, almost close enough to touch it. Trilling is part of the delivery system, underpinned by this rise in pitch. It's as if Beethoven has found something in the trill that carries us towards the infinite. But Beethoven found other ways to push his music towards something even more profound. And to do this, he needed to manipulate time itself. This is the final movement of Beethoven's 3rd last piano sonata, Opus 109, a work from his final years. The 3rd movement takes the form of theme and variation. We hear a theme, and then that becomes varied in a number of ways. As we enter the final variation, things get really interesting. First of all, the note values speed up. Crotchets, now quavers, twice as fast. Next, the time signature changes. 9/8, 9 quavers to the bar. Again, the notes speed up. Quavers become semi-quavers. Semi-quavers become demi-semi-quavers. You can feel the musical space accelerating. And then, inevitably, we become a trill at the centre of the playing, a spinning nucleus of trill, orbited by melody. And And then, finally, the music bursts with a cascade of expression. All the while, the trill and the bass rumbling on. It's one of my favourite moments of Beethoven, a release of kinetic emotion that's been building up this entire variation. And in the bass, the trill continues, and indeed continues going up the range. Trilling is everywhere in this final movement, part of the fabric holding the music together, lifting us somewhere up above music itself. And as the final thrilling trill fades away, we return finally to our original theme. It feels like we've been taken on a real journey, and Beethoven has used the decrease of space between notes for the journey's trajectory. It's a trajectory that will lead us inevitably to the trill. So, a recap. Beethoven unveils a triple trill. Next, in his piano concerto, he adds a rising pitch. And then, in his third final piano sonata, a speeding up of time. But with his final piano sonata, Beethoven would take everything he had learned and use it to take us somewhere music had never gone before. Like number 30, this has a final movement that uses the theme and variation structure. Like 30, we have a sense, as the variations continue, that we're delving deeper into the music by exploring a speeding up of the musical space. Sidebar, I've made another video about this section, check that out as well. Back to our piano sonata. Theme, variation, music speeding up until we inevitably reach the trill again. This trill stays on the same note in a possibly long time before shrinking to a minor version. And then, oh look, another triple trill, just as Beethoven had used all those years ago in his third piano sonata. It's like a compendium of all Beethoven's tricks with trills. For now, like the piano concerto, the pitch rises. We reach either end of the keyboard. A hole of empty sound lies between these two extremes. This feels like a tomb. Before Beethoven gently pulls us back together. And as we approach the final parts of his final piano sonata, his magnificent final piano sonata, the trills return. It's like we're approaching the infinite and being lifted there by heavenly wings. Beethoven has used something as simple as the trill to take me, well, up towards a heaven I could almost touch. Inside a spilling of the highest ecstasy. And then made me stare at my own death. All by using the simplest of ornamentations, the trill. Wow, Beethoven, wow. Please like and subscribe.